Hello. I've got about 14 videos I've got planned for today, so um, I better get on with it. So I'll start off with a positive one on the subject. This the subjects are going to be very varied, and yeah, it's some positive, some it's just things that I want to get just outside of my own brain, because it's just I carry a lot of stuff in my head that I don't actually talk to anyone about or get out, ideas and stuff. And it's just I thought today I'd offload that. So to start with, I think I'll go into year goals, like or New Year's resolutions. Um, So if you've started a New Year's resolution and you failed or you're still continuing, well, good on you if you are. If you're not, then it doesn't really matter. The I would distinguish a good difference between like I have two categories. Like, so one is New Year's resolutions, and that is the kind of I'm going to change on New Year, and that's it. If I don't manage to change and stick to it, then I've failed, and I'll carry on the year and I'll wait till next year. So that's New Year's resolutions. My The term I would use is New Year's goals, or um, you know just goals for the year, something like that in general. But the difference is that you allow yourself to make mistakes, and because you're building up a habit, you cannot expect to change as a person just in one go and then one failure and that's it. Of course, you don't plan to fail. And there's two types of like habits, of course. Like one could be like giving up a habit, an addiction or something, and then the other is an active doing something. And I personally think the active doing something is harder than the giving up. Um, but that's in my experience, and that's from giving up smoking addiction. So, which was really hard. It wasn't. Um, it was easier on my last attempt, which was I think about 8 years ago, something like that. Um, but yeah, whyquit.com is what I used to give up cold turkey, and it gave me a lot of ways of thinking that just made it so much easier to do. I actually had a smoker in my house smoking around me when I was giving up. So like, if I could do it under those conditions, like pretty much, I think most people can if they've got the right things in their head. So it's sort of like a motto, keeping like a mantra in your head kind of thing, like um, not one more cigarette, not one more, not one more puff, or that's what they say on the website. And so it's just not having that next one. But even on a moral grounds, I dislike the way that the tobacco industries were were very corrupt, and I don't want to fund them. Like, they were fighting the case that like nicotine isn't, or bad for you, or smoking isn't bad for you, not bad for your health. They were fighting this in court for ages, and actively encouraging and putting adverts in like magazines that teenagers would see and stuff. And it was just, everything was corrupt about them. And it's just like, what, I don't want to fund them. I don't want the I don't want the bad health impact on me. But knowing how like it works for your brain, that you're, after about 2 weeks of giving up, like you turn off like this the receptor that allows you to release dopamine and enjoy the experience. So if you give up after 2 weeks, once you've got past that, the next fag you have will be like um, ineffective. All you'll feel is regret, and it's just knowing that the one that you crave after the 2 weeks is just going to be disappointing, and it's going to have those negative feelings about it. You realize that it's not worth it. But also, one of the things is that every trigger. So every time so there's triggers. You have triggers all the time, like with your addiction. So one thing could be you've eaten your meal and you're used to then your brain knows after a meal you have like your nicotine intake. So the easiest like triggers to give up are the ones that you do most. So like when you give up smoking, you'll find that the one after dinner you'll get rid of that trigger and that craving. That association will disappear very quickly because your brain realizes, oh, I don't need this to survive, because it does think it's like food, water. It thinks it needs it for survival. Your brain does. So it's like once your brain's learned, oh yeah, I don't need it for that. That's fine. You that becomes easier. So, but so then you've got to think that it's the long term problems, the long term triggers, such as it could be like when it's sunny or going on holiday or something, and you've got to be just as alert, and you've got to remember it's a rare trigger. You've been caught off guard because it's been so long, could be several months. You've got to remember to treat it the same as you did at the beginning. And once you realize that, you clock on, you take it seriously, your guard's no longer down, you get through the holiday and everything, and it's not that hard once you've got the right way of thinking, and that's it. Do that for a bit, and it's not even a problem. I have no temptation for it whatsoever. I could have smoked anytime I wanted, and I just don't get the temptation. I don't. So but anyway, like back to the actual sorry I went on there, but you can you can associate that with different addictions. Um so I mean, my suggestion is like, when you do your new resolutions or New Year's goals, plan what you want to get done in a year, and you write a list. It doesn't have to be very long, and through January, basically, you just you kind of that's a period of like, you're gonna mess up, but it's a period of like being able to readjust your goals. You don't have to stick to those exact same goals. You can take some out, you can add some in. So this is the editing like period. January is like chopping and changing, and you can attribute points to each of them, and like and so that by the end of the year it's like, how many did I manage to achieve, and then you rack up some points, and have a reward for getting a certain amount of points at the end of the year. And I because there might be some luxury buy that you would never normally do, but it's like you want it but you never would, because it doesn't make sense to buy because it's a luxury item. And something that's a bit more expensive, but it's like it's not sensible to, but you will if you manage to achieve your goals. Because if you have this frame of mind and you achieve all these goals, then you become more of a powerhouse and you'll be able to achieve more long term. So for people in a better condition than I am, they'll do really well on that. And I would also say, like, for me, like, this having like some kind of band, it doesn't have to, it can be like, a watch, it can be like just a bracelet, it could be something like just tacky. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, you just have to be aware that it's there, and like, so have it, it's something you want to take on and off when you get into the shower every day. And like, it's basically you use it as a way of like, to remind you to consider how you're feeling for the day. How do you feel? And if you don't feel very good, then you scan through your body and just like how each part of your body's feeling, and you get a general like feeling of wellness and what you'll be able to achieve for the day. And you can know very early on in the day, like, is today a day off? maybe I'm going to do this tomorrow, and so it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. You're still going forward. So, you know, be kind to yourself. Habits develop over time. It's a trend, and you might go further down a bit, but as long as you can carry on that trend upwards, like, so don't give up. So anyway, that about wraps it up, I think.